Yes, absolutely.
You're right. I'm going back.
Before we get started, if you wanted to just, if you wouldn't mind just muting your mics, that would be super. Before we get started, I just wanted to read a land acknowledgement. First off, I'll just say hi. My name is Jessica Rorison, and I'm working with the IBDS program and Sage Hill Community Futures to help facilitate these webinars. We've been doing this now for about 3 years, right? Almost, yeah. And Tammy has been with us in the past several times over the last 3 years. And before we get started, I just want to say, as we gather here today, we acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory and homeland of the Métis. We pay our respects to the First Nations and Métis ancestors of this place and reaffirm our relationship with one another. So Jenny is also going to welcome you today. Before Jenny speaks, I just want to say that today we have Tammy Zdunek here with us, and she is one of the founding members of the Well Collaborative based out of Saskatoon. But Tammy has a variety of different businesses, and I've known her for many, many years on a personal level. And now I'm very fortunate to have worked with her many times within this world of virtual training. So Jenny, you go ahead and
Good afternoon, everyone. And on behalf of Sage Hill, I'd like to welcome everyone to our session today. Excuse my voice. I was cheering way too much over the weekend at my daughter's broom ball. So you have to put up with my screechy voice. We're just excited to have everybody here and so happy to have Tammy back. So instead of listening to me, we're going to turn it right over to Tammy because I'm sure she's got lots of great information for us about going live on social media. You're muted, Tammy. Oh, yeah. There we go.
How to do a Zoom. That's what we're going to say. And then I have to figure out how to play, how to present. So this is me. Okay, woohoo! Guys, just every time I do something successfully, I'm happy. Can you see my how to go live on social media? Okay, good. Okay, so I would love some things I would just love as we go along because I like interaction. I know there's a number of women here, well, a few women here that I've worked with before, and I like a little back and forth. So if you want to put in the chat, if you go live or you just want to do a thumbs up or something, if that's something you regularly do, or if you have tips while I'm talking and you feel like, oh, like I know something to add, then please let me know what that is, because that's always helpful for everybody. And if you have questions, we do have a time right at the end for questions, and we should have like a good amount of time for questions. So we'll see. We'll see how we go along. So like Jessica said, my main focus right now with my photography company is on female brand photos. And I've been doing photography for like 25 years, got 3 kids and a husband, and I just love business. So entrepreneurship is very much in my blood. My dad was an entrepreneur for 45 years, still is. He's 78, still runs his business. And I just love like making it up. Like, oh, I want to do that. Okay, I'm just going to figure out how to do that. It doesn't have to exist. So that's the kind of entrepreneur I am. I'm learning now. I'm like 43, I'm turning 44 right away. And I'm learning that it's actually okay to like use a model that already exists to teach me how to do business. So thankfully, like humility is happening and I'm learning that I can like do things how other people teach me to do it. So that's a whole thing. So how to go live. I go live often. I love going live. I go live every Friday with the Well. I interview a Well member. So any woman who's a member has an opportunity to be interviewed. And so I just really want to go through my process of how I do it. And if you have questions that come up, just pop them in the chat and the girls can, Jenny or Jessica can let me know and I can answer those. So the first thing that I like to do is just prep my content. This is something I learned as well, because everything I do is very like fly by the seat of my pants. And then I thought, hey, there might be an easier way. Like maybe it'll be easier if I figure out what I want to say ahead of time. But also in true Tammy fashion, I don't like to be too prepared and I don't like to have a script. So the way I do it is through having just really simple jot notes. So if I'm going to, let's say, interview Jillian from Grit and Gertie, which will happen most likely this coming next year, I would like, well, this, I'm going to get into this, but I would like prep myself a little bit on who Jillian is ahead of time. I would have like some jot notes of things that I'm already curious about her. And then the big thing is to be yourself. So when I'm talking with her. So one thing I'm talking about here is going live in terms of an interview. And then you can also go live in the sense of like, it's just you on your phone without another person. I'm feeling like right now, as I'm doing this, I'm realizing that I mainly am thinking about going live as an interview format when I prep this, but the same steps apply to going live. So, yeah, there's a few different ways. So Jenny was cute at the beginning. She was like, how do I hold my phone when I go like this way or this way? So, I mean, that's up to you. This person has their phone this way. When I'm doing Instagram, I always have it in this mode when I go live. Going live is different than doing an Instagram story. So when you're doing an Instagram story, you're just holding the button and talking into the phone for a story, and it gives you like these short little clips, and then you can write on it and you post it right to your stories. Going live is where like there's people on, they're going to watch you right at that moment. They can interact with you. They can ask you questions. Usually you maybe like let them know ahead of time that you're going to be going live so that they can tune in at that time. So going live is like a specific purpose, either an interview or that you want to share something specific for your business, or maybe you had this like amazing epiphany and you just want to share it with your audience. That's another great reason to go live. So it is used for a few different things. These are my like really important steps that would kill any live really quickly, is if like your phone's not charged enough. Especially if you start to get really good interaction with your audience and you want to keep those conversations going. Turning your do not disturb on. So this is funny. I used to like, well, it's funny to me. It's not funny. It's like funny, weird. I used to put go into my notifications in my phone, and then I would like turn everyone off. That was like one that usually came up, like messages and phone and Facebook or all these things. And then the one day, my friend who's a lot younger than me, she just got my phone and she just put it on do not disturb, and she's like, oh, there are no notifications. I was like, what? That's so much easier. So just do your do not disturb mode on your phone rather than turning off individually all of your notifications. And make sure you have a good Wi-Fi connection. This is something that is constantly a problem. If I have Wi-Fi on and data, I got to turn one off. So I usually find that if I'm doing a live and I want it to be clear and good, and I'm telling you, like, especially when I'm interviewing people, this is so common that one of our connections isn't great. So I find cellular data will work better if you're in a place with good data, obviously with good data. If you're not, then a good, strong Wi-Fi connection. Go wherever it is in your house that gives you a good Wi-Fi connection, because there's nothing worse than like that crackling or that stopping when you're trying to share something with your audience. And it takes people's attention right always away from what you're saying and more onto the disconnect. So this is my fancy schmancy setup. I'm actually sitting right in front of the setup right now. I have my vision board for 2023 in front of me. I have my computer in front of me, and then I put my phone on my computer, and I have like a pop socket. I always show my pop socket. I'm such a big pop socket fan. So I have it sitting on a Kleenex on my computer. This is my setup. This is as fancy as this is. So if you don't have a Kleenex behind your pop socket, it's gonna spin. Lots of people use tripods. Sure, go buy a tripod. Like, I'm fine with that. I don't use a tripod. I just use this. I do sometimes also have a really nice light that I'll put in front of me when I do lives, but today I didn't put it on. I just using a bulb. So this is how I set up. I just want to look at this and see. So when I am interviewing someone, Or if I was just wanting to talk to you about something that was important to me that I wanted to share, I would pop my phone up like this. I would get on my computer. What I like about this is that no one can see what's on my computer when I'm going live. So I can have all of my cheat notes on my computer. So like, for example, tomorrow I need to record. So I'm going to do the same thing for video. I need to record a video for a client. So I'm going to do this exact same setup. I'm probably going to put my phone the other way for the video and have all my notes. So I can kind of look at my jot notes, or I can look at the website of like Jillian, if I'm interviewing Jillian. I can have that in front of me so that when I go blank because I'm nervous and I'm scared and my cortisol levels are really high because I'm going live, or even like right now when my anxiety and cortisol levels are high, I need to have that information in front of me. And I need to just remind myself that it's okay. Take your time, look at the camera. They don't have to listen to you. They can turn off their phone. It doesn't matter if you say something. They have choice in whether they watch you or not. So if they're watching you, it's because they want to. And just honoring that fact that if they're listening to you and they're watching and they're tuning in, it's because they want to be there. So that's enough reason to share the information that you have within yourself for them. So I just want to make sure I've got that. So yes, that is my very simple setup. If you have a simple setup that you use when you go live, other than this, which is also a popular one, that one? Who does that one? Like most people do that one. Just like phone. I feel like it is a better angle, to be honest, but if you get your computer a bit higher, you'll get like a good chin angle. Okay, here we go. This is like the actual way to go live. For anyone who hasn't done it, Jenny, this is how you do it. You open your Instagram on your phone. That's step one. Then you click the little plus sign. Can you see my cursor? Right up there. And then you just hit live. And then you start to sweat. And then your heart rate starts to rise. And that's normal. Expect that. Hit that live button. And then you're going to see this wonderful screen that comes up that says live, and how many followers are active. And I'm going to tell you, if there's nothing more stressful, it is how many followers are active versus how many followers are watching. And then as they quit watching, how stressed you get, and you think, is what I'm saying not important? Should I stop talking? Like, is this, nobody's listening. So there's this whole other thing that happens mentally when you're going live. And I mean, if it doesn't happen to you, good for you. Teach us why, because every time for me, it's an issue. And I'm going to tell you one more thing in a second. So don't let me forget to tell you about the interview piece. So this is, I just want to take a second for this because it's a big deal. When you see how many of your followers are active, I think it gets you really excited. You're like, yes, they're all going to watch my live. And then nobody watches your live, or maybe like 4 people watch your live, or maybe you say something and then all of a sudden someone clicks out of your live and you're like, did I offend them? There's a lot that goes on. So try to ignore the number, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It really doesn't matter, because you're going to post the video onto your stories and onto your profile later, and it's going to remain there for as long as you want. So once you post it onto your profile, it stays there and people can watch it like indefinitely until you take it down. You post it to your stories, it's going to stay there for 24 hours. There's all these like really fun filters that I don't use, but feel free to play around with that based on your personality. I can't tell you what these, I should be able to tell you, but I don't know what these calendar and eye things do. I could probably tell you if we pull out our phones right now. Did you want to know? Did you want me to look? I'm going to check for you right now. I actually went live in order to get that video, that picture of myself waving. And then I just shut her down. Let's do it again. 42 active followers right now. Okay, I'm going to see here. Okay, so what those are is, the I is if you want it public, so anyone can be noticed, or if you want to go live by yourself or with others to practice. Ooh, I didn't even know you could do practice. Guys, Nobody will be notified. Okay, that's fun. So I'm live now. Just do this right now. I'm in live practice mode. Okay, everyone, this is your homework. You have to do a live practice mode. What day is it today? Tuesday, by Friday. You're accountable to that. Okay, this is super fun. So there's just lots of fun stuff that you can do when you go into there. And I think you should definitely have a lot of fun practicing with that. I'm going to. I think that'd be super fun. I'm going to discard that, though I don't need it. Yeah. So then next, let's move on. Tammy's like getting distracted by her phone. These are things that I always bring up in everything I do when it comes to video is check your background. So I have a really bad background behind me today. So I just did the blur. I did the blur thing. Remove any distractions, check your lighting. I mean, this girl's got some great lighting in there. She's got her ring light, she's got her hair lights, she's got her cool blue background and her makeup on. I mean, she's really going for it. She obviously knows her target market really well. And she knows what they're going to respond to. So that's great. I just think always make sure you have good lighting on your face. Like Jenny. I can't see you, Jenny. Where's your light? So that's kind of like, you know, get that good light on your face, shine yourself up. Do it. I'm just teasing you. I'm sorry. I shouldn't call people. I like to call people right out when I'm with them. So this is one thing I wanted to talk about. Yeah, try to not look at how many people are watching. Plan 1 to 3 points you want to share and look at the camera. Don't look at yourself. So if you wanted, like, if you're going live, and I find sometimes I just kind of have a general idea of what I want to say, and then it just doesn't go well. I don't get my point across. So I do really feel like having those jot notes of 1 to 3 points. And even people have a really short attention span. So even if you only had 1 point that you want to share on and you went live on that, I think that's fabulous. Do it live again next week. Do live again next week. I think going live consistently on a regular basis is so great. I mean, that's not my personality, but I think for those of you who will find success in that. And if you feel that you can regularly schedule yourself a live every week, then I think that is fantastic. And then you could build on that. I want to say one thing. No, I'm not going to. I was going to talk about the interviews. When you have someone interview and they have to request to join a live. But I don't actually have a screenshot on it right now. But essentially what it is, if you went onto Instagram right now and there's someone live, you can actually click. I'm going to show you. Click on their live. And then it'll say on it, there's a little plus sign, and it'll say on it, request to join their live. They're really famous. They're not going to let me join their live right now, so I'm not going to request, but you just hit request and then it like comes up if you want to join someone else's live. And you should just trick people like that and just like try to join their live and see what they do. See if they panic. Okay, so once you're done, you're done. You're so happy with it. It went so well. You were so prepared. Your light was great. You're going to end your live. Don't panic. It's still there, because I know I have lost lives before and you feel like all your work has went. Has anyone else ever lost a live? Yeah, yes, exactly. It's not just me. And it's like devastating because you're like, you put all that energy and hard work and nervousness into this live and it's gone. And it's gone, and it is gone. So make sure you have a pocket of time after your live to do the follow-up. End it and then end now. Share your live. Yes, you have to do that right now. So just don't even click anything else. Just go share. And then you got to write your post. So this is where you have to get creative and you have to have clickbait, like something to make them click it. I don't know what that's going to be for you, for your company, but I try to like say like Jillian revealed new secret, you know, like, oh, this is top secret, but you're here first. I'm just kidding. But like something like that, where people want to click on it and want to watch your live. I'm probably more emotional when I do them. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, this woman's so amazing, blah, blah, blah. But I haven't totally learned the whole clickbait thing yet. So write a caption, tag your people, do as much as you can on this, get your post, share your post. I almost hit share there. And then you need to share it to your stories. So 2 things that I'm going to say. 1, decide whether you want it to go on your profile or not on Instagram. If you want it to show up on your profile, you can always move it later. You don't have to keep it there. So I would add it to your profile and then I would share it to your story. You can take it off your profile. It's only going to stay on your story for 24 hours. I like how they look on the profile. So some people then also want to add a cover shot, and you can see right there, it says cover. You can click on that and you can add any photo if you don't want it to be the photo of the actual live. Yeah, it just depends how you like your social media to look, your aesthetic. Okay. So we're moving on to Facebook. Is there anything on Instagram that I did not cover, or that anything you want to tell me? People, no? I can't see chat, so just tell me if there is. So Facebook Live is like different, and I think I like it more. I really like it. So I'm going to say the same things with laptop charged, remove background noise, like anything kind of cluttering in the background, and make sure you have a good Wi-Fi connection. Has anyone went on Facebook Live? Okay. Yeah. So
I use it lots.
okay, so do you use it in the sense of like you're letting people know ahead of time you're going to be live, or to a certain audience, or do you schedule them?
I don't schedule it. It's usually my husband and I own a greenhouse with our business. And when greenhouse season, I do lots of lives, and they're just spur of the moment. I'll go on and show what's just arrived or answer questions, because I'm not there during the day. My husband is. So he gets all these plant questions and petunia questions, drive him crazy. So then I'll go on maybe in the evening and I'll answer his questions and just go live and tell people what they've been asking is and I just do it live right in the greenhouse, holding my phone like you showed.
I love it. That's so great that you do that.
Yeah.
That's one thing, just side note, that now that you brought that up, is one of the best ways to get content is just to answer what people are asking. Like, people sometimes don't know what to post or don't know what to talk about. Just answer people's questions. Questions are like, maybe like it probably does, you're right, like annoys, like your husband doesn't know what to answer, but you do. And then you go on and you're like, here's all the questions. Now you have content for your posts, your stories, your lives, everything, your Facebook, everything is like just answering one question per post would be crazy good content.
Because one was, I had these huge baskets in front of my store and everybody kept coming in asking what they were and how come they were so big. And so I went on and explained the fertilizer and what I was doing. And I've never had so many likes and comments from talking about plant fertilizer.
Yeah. Note to self, talk about plant fertilizer more often. Like, honestly, like just keep saying the same things that people are responding to. So I did Facebook Live. I planned it to be like on my laptop, but I'm going to say like the steps are the same on your phone. It's just a different system if it's on you're holding your phone instead of having it on your computer. And that's probably because I tend to use Facebook on my computer, not on my phone. I tend to not use Facebook, but I think that it is a very good thing, a very good marketing tool. So I just pulled up my own Facebook to show kind of how to go live. And I feel like there's some really great, I really like the way that Facebook functions for a few reasons. So, I don't even know, I just went, yeah, right there, live video, and then go live or create a live video event. I thought isn't that so fantastic? Like, so going live with yourself or others essentially is like Instagram. It's like all the same kind of things, but creating a live video event where people could sign up for your event, plan to attend. I feel like that's just such a bonus. That's such a benefit of Facebook. They're really good at that kind of stuff.
Tammy, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering, could we be doing like events like this through a Facebook Live?
Yes. I would have to just look into sharing the screen.
Okay.
I'm not sure about sharing the screen, but I think that'd be really easy to figure out.
Yeah. I just think that we would have more reach. Anyways, a side note, just I'm curious
love that.
for anyone really, right? Virtual training. These are free, so why not offer it to anyone who just happens to come across it?
I love that. You're right. And Facebook does the marketing for you in that
Yes.
sense.
Mhm.
You can still send out your emails. Oh, so good. So good. That's why I love when you guys talk back to me. Okay, so right. So this is one of the things I really loved about Facebook. If you want to get like good sound quality, and I know I record videos, I do videos for different groups or people or businesses, and being able to like plug in your own microphone and plug in your own camera is huge. So they let you use different cameras and different microphones. Oh, and you can start screen share. It says right there, start screen share. Oh my goodness, this is so great. I never noticed that before. So you can choose your video source. Here's the part I like the best is you could put in all these details about your post before, because it is honestly, it's so anxiety inducing, just like trying to get that post written after the live. And I'm telling you, if there's any time that like I'm going to be distracted with like phone calls or kids or it's like when I'm done my live. I think they think now I'm fair game or something. I'm not fair game. I'm never fair game. Kidding. So title it, and you can like pre-plan all this stuff, like what would be, the best title for that will draw people in, and you're not kind of panicked in a sense to do it. I get you could like write it down and copy and paste, but come on, who's really doing that? And if you are, that's fantastic. So I love this. I think this is so great to do it on Facebook. And then, so that's this number 3, your title, your description, choosing your camera, choosing your microphone. One funny thing that happened to me when I was doing the live with Facebook was it kept connecting to my phone and my phone camera. So I had to make sure that I was choosing the proper camera right in here, the FaceTime HD camera, because it kept, how your phone is now connecting to your computer. It's like was a new update or something. Okay, so then this next one, I mean, pretty simple. It's just going to tell you how you did. And then I think so you can end your live video, and then it will be posted. It will remain. It will stay, which is great too. I think there's a bit less fear of losing it on Facebook. So much fun stuff. Oh yeah, end it here. And then, so once you end your live video, then you can delete it. You can create a clip, trim your video, view post. That's amazing. Man, Facebook, gotta stop cutting you down, giving you some love.
I think all this honestly is quite new.
Yeah. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
We're right. It is. It's not us.
Mm-hmm.
New. Yeah. Okay, so again, if you are planning on making lives a part of something you do on the regular, just spend a little bit of investment and grab some stuff that will help you. You can do my trick where I do my pop socket on my computer with the Kleenex, or what I see fancy people do is they have these lovely little lights with the camera holder right in the middle of them, and then you get fantastic light, especially if you're doing it on yourself. It's different if you're showing plants and doing like a demonstration or something, although I still think having that really good light on your product, like by a window or one of these LED ring lights, and then videoing it that way just gives it like such a professional quality that you can't get without good lighting. So camera stabilizer, yeah, I've been known to use pretty much everything for that, because what I'll do sometimes if I'm in a hurry, like if I'm doing a Friday live, often you'll see me in my room and you won't really necessarily know where I am, but I've got the window right in front of me and I'm leaning my phone up on the window ledge, and it's tricky because it'll like move a bit. So yeah, I just like to do things the hard way. So I will like sacrifice for good lighting. So You will always hear that with me. So what did I have here? Oh yeah, this was good too. Just if you're wanting to do some live like flat lays, like product, then just kind of creating like a dedicated space in your home for creating content. You could do like a large, I had a card table and you could put like paper of your brand colors that kind of go up, tape up to the wall and go back onto the table, or a large white sheet that goes. It's nice to have that seamless background. Does that make sense? Like where the paper goes onto the table and then it goes up onto the wall and you just tape it. Then that's actually a super good photography trick too. That's how I shoot brand product photos all the time for professional jobs, is I just have a white piece of paper that is facing a window and I tape it to like a table and then up to a wall. So maybe it's perpendicular with the walls here and there's a wall, a window, and then I have like the paper. So yeah, use that trick for sure. One thing I had thought of, it was in and then it went out. It is gone. Something to do with that. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to share was one of the women I work with who does branding. She's a very small basement apartment, but she created this one space with like almost like the size of a half bath or even smaller than that, where she got these really great lights, and then she got like just a white background, but she has colored strobes that she can put into there and she can manipulate it to any color. And then she put her ring light in front of her and with the holder, and she has this like dedicated going live area in her home. I think that's brilliant. If she could come do that for me now. Okay, so guys, I'm sorry, I feel like that's only been half hour. So we're gonna have to talk. So I really want to challenge you to go live. What would you say? Okay, the big room, the people who are on camera, what would you say is like your number one reason that you either hesitate to go live or haven't went live?
We can have people either unmute or you can type in the chat, whichever.
I will wait. Thank you.
I think for me, I'm not feeling prepared to manage the unknown of going live.
Say that again.
Not feeling prepared to manage the unknown. So you giving those steps of what to do at the end was really helpful. Yeah. As well as that time at the beginning where you have to go live and then figure out how to let the other person in and the awkwardness of that.
Okay.
Wanting to avoid all of that awkwardness and anxiety.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something. This is your tip of your life. Just lean in and own the awkwardness. Just name it. Say it. You know, like, wow, this is a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. Like, oh, I'm trying to get the person on. Just give us a second. Like, I feel like just because I think it's when we're trying to hide things or we're trying to like appear, that we start to get that kind of like nervous about, and even with the unknown, I even think, if my dog barks, then I'm just gonna have to say, hey, let's pause. My dog's going crazy. The mail's getting delivered or whatever. I think people really appreciate that. It's okay. And then they feel like it's okay for them to go live, for them to try it. And you'll just find that every single time you do it, you'll learn something. And then you'll be that seamless person who's going live, who everyone's like, how do they do it? How is that so seamless? Well, it's because they had 20 times where it messed up and they just kept going. They just kept going. I mean, isn't that entrepreneurship? Just keep messing up and keep doing it again anyway. But I understand that. I relate completely. Even today, I was like, should I teach this upstairs? Probably my dog's going to bark. Probably something's going to happen. And I'm like, okay, I'll just go into my basement. It's like I learned. I was like, good job, Tammy. Way to learn. Okay, what else?
And you know what, Tammy, I watch your lives all the time, and sometimes there is a pause and you are waiting and the person can't connect and you're waiting and you're like, it's just the button, you have to hit join, but you're so calm about it. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. And watching you nobody seems frazzled.
Right.
Like, you don't.
You know what this plays into though is the business that you're building. Like, I know that's not what we're talking about right now, but I have built a business that I feel that I can be myself. So I think certain businesses don't necessarily feel that way, and for good reason sometimes. But I think like The Well is the business I'm the most comfortable showing up myself. Even in photography, I'll feel nervous. Like I have to like put on a certain amount of professionalism for trust. So I think it's like, of course, expected that people would be really nervous doing that ahead of time, especially depending on what they're talking about.
Absolutely. But I think that eventually we need to have a session about the imposter syndrome that you've spoken about so many times. But I think going live and imposter syndrome are like, they're married to one another. And so I think that there's some value in just acknowledging that everybody's worthy of going live and you have something to say.
You know, I had a really great call with a woman entrepreneur today, and it's always the same theme that comes up, is it's like a self-worth value thing. But I said, like, think about people you follow on Instagram or on social media, and think about how you feel when they talk to you, and you want more, like you want to hear from them. So you just have to flip it and assume that there's people out there who also feel that way about you and want to hear more from you. And the more you can just be yourself, and the more people they just connect with that, I think. And sharing that awkwardness helps them connect with you. I mean, I want to be relatable. There was a very famous, very, very famous woman who said that her whole thing was like, she didn't want to be relatable. She wanted to be like so super famous and so popular that she was like not relatable because she worked so hard for this. And I was like, oh, I just like really want to be relatable. People are like, oh yeah, okay, if she could do it, I could do it. That's kind of, but anyways, it's the same insecurities that come up for everyone. And the only way you get over those is by doing it.
And can you talk to us a little bit about the numbers and how going live increases or generates interest on your social media?
Well, I'm not like a great like analytic number person, but I know that video is just ranks way higher than any posts. It just does way better. I couldn't give you percentages. But what I like from a really practical standpoint is that when you go live, especially if you're interviewing someone, especially if you bring people in on it, or you're talking about someone else's product, it all of a sudden creates a whole bunch of collaboration where everyone's posting your live. So you're sharing it to your story, and then the person who you interviewed is sharing it, their business is sharing it, other people are commenting on it, they're talking about it. So to me, that's kind of like, that's the benefit that I see, is the reach in terms of actual like tangible reach. Like people are interested in the person you're interviewing, so you're gaining their audience. It's so much more than that moment you're going live. So I personally, I go live a bit on my own where I'm just talking about a situation that happened. It's usually quite impulsive when I do that. And the lives where I'm interviewing someone are nice because you're all of a sudden tagging them, their business, they're sharing it, they're tagging, they're talking about you, you're talking about them, and it just creates this like bigger thing. And I really think that's the benefit. Like, I'm a huge fan of interviewing people. Yeah.
I'm just going to say one last thing before I let anybody else talk. Sorry. I just wanted to also say that this, like Tammy goes live and I notice it. So recently I don't know, it was a while back, you had an interview with somebody who does facials, and you had just had one, and you talked about her spa. It's so impactful. Then I'm looking up her site and I'm booking an appointment, and I can't be the only person doing that. Right? Because you're an influencer. Right? So then
40 is the new influencer age.
And so
Yeah.
it's very powerful.
Yeah, I think one of the things when you're putting yourself out there is you don't even know the reach you're getting. So there might be these analytics, there's this reach, but like, I just like my businesses have never been built on social media. My businesses have always been built on relationships and talking and meeting people. So and that's how I thrive that way. If I didn't have social media for photography, I would just be busy, but I really enjoy social media. So I love using it. It's fun. So I think my point being that there's so many connections that you don't even know are happening. So when you think nothing is happening, things are still happening. People are talking. Like I'll hear things from that someone's been thinking about this for years, like with the well, like joining the well for years. And I'm like, oh, okay, like people are noticing. So you have to trust that they're noticing a lot more than the feedback you're getting. And then just the more consistent you are going out, and especially when you really believe in what you're doing, which I know you all believe in what you're doing because you're here, like because you're sitting and you're listening and you're putting this energy and time into it. I think I might have another slide. Hold on. Oh, it was just Q&A. Okay. Okay. Does anyone have anything they want to ask or anything they want to add?
Abby, when you're interviewing somebody, do they need to be with you or can you interview them from afar?
Yeah, this is a great question. And I am really sorry I don't have a slide. I should have had a slide with that picture on it, because what it does is it takes your camera screen and it cuts it in half, and it has you and then it has the person. And you can interview people from anywhere. And it just really increases your reach and relationships of people from like in any country, in any city, anywhere. So all you have to do is plan the time with them that you're going to join. And then you just start your live. So what I always say is, so here's exactly how I laid out. I'm sorry it's not in written form. You know, do you want to go live at 11 a.m. CST? I'll be on Instagram on this account because I have multiple accounts. So I'll say I'll be on Instagram on @Tammy Zadunik or @The Well Collab. And please hop on at that time at 11 a.m. or a few minutes before. You'll see me go live. And as soon as you see me, start watching it. And then there'll be a request to join button. And they just have to press the request to join. That's all it is. And then I will let them onto the call. So people might request to join, you don't want to join, but just ignore them. I've never had that. I think I've only once or twice had that happen. And I think they just accidentally hit it. I mean, it does sound fun, right? Gonna join your live. Yeah, so yeah, Wendy, do you have any other questions about that?
No, I couldn't quite get that in my head, seeing I've never done it. How you would,
Well, you should do it. It's really fun. Even if no one watches, who cares? Just do it for your own self.
a big part of the problem is finding the time to do it.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing. I've been in my head for years, but it's never gotten on Facebook or Instagram.
And one thing that I'll mention is I book my lives, my interviews are 15 minutes, and sometimes they go longer, but the goal is about 15 minutes that we're going to chat for. And I have a very specific system that I do every time now. So they introduce themselves, we talk about how we know each other, like some connection, and I ask them if there's, what's going on in their business or what's new. And then if there's anything we can do to help, like how can we increase your reach? So for some people, they want people to sign up for their newsletter, or some people just want them to follow them on social media, or some people would like them to tune into something they're doing, maybe come to an event, a free event or something like that. So I feel like having a really simple system, like steps, then you can let the conversation go where it goes, but at least you have some sort of structure that you feel safe within that structure, that you feel confident, like you're like, I'm okay, these are the 3 questions I'm asking. And then really just let them carry it as much as they will.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I just had a question about when you end an Instagram live, that's an interview, and you don't add a cover photo, it splits it so that the top person's forehead is cut off, the bottom person's, right? And then that stays on your feed. How do you avoid that? I hate that.
I just I just like roll with it. But I want to say that if you really want to do prep it, you can add a cover. So you could add a cover of the person, or I would say you need to pre-prepare the cover in Canva or whatever you use. I use Canva. So I would like pre-prep the cover, maybe me, the person, then, you know, going like live, listen to the live, or a nice photo of them, something that you think people will click on.
And then with that, I guess you can also put like what you're talking about. 'Cause I also don't like when lives don't have any kind of indication of what they're actually talking about
Do you mean in the writing or on the picture?
on the picture.
Oh, okay. Ooh, that's good feedback. You
But when you
prefer,
scroll,
like
you don't know what you're clicking on. So you click on it.
like, why am I going to watch this? Like, what are you even telling me? That's that clickbait. Yeah. Oh, that's good. So make sure when you do that though, on your cover, that it's within those parameters of your square, because even though it's going to be long, it's only going to crop out that little bit. So you have to make sure that that center square portion is where your information is. So that it doesn't get half cut off, like how the forehead gets cut off. Yeah. Now you're making me feel like, oh, do I need to like, maybe I need to do a better Canva cover. I'm going to tell my team, guys, feedback.
Oh, so good.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you do a live in Instagram, can it share to Facebook? Or do you have to do it on both?
You can't share live from Instagram to Facebook at this time. Trust me, I try every time,
Oh.
every time. But tip, if you have the time, you can screen record your lives for content and trim them and use them in reels and videos. And in fact, you should. And someone should do that for the well too. So I'll tell someone.
Or you could have it going on your phone and in the background, it's your PC your computer going on Facebook Live, doing it at the same time.
I love it. I love that. Because on your screen, your computer, yeah. Go ahead. Someone said something. No?
We're just
Yeah,
talking about the of the two screens and what would it capture?
You know, test it out. Go in practice mode. I do really like, this is the thing with content though, is I think people have so much great content and not enough time to even figure out how to share it. So you do a live and you have this great content. I know our team struggles with that. Then it's like, okay, somebody needs to be like watching those lives, re-recording that, like screen recording them and trimming them and putting them into reels. And like, how many, like, we're small business, you know, when you're small business, it's hard to do all that stuff without sacrificing like sleep, family, you know, all these other things. So you got to pick and choose what's worth it to you. I think interviewing is great because it gets your message out to so many more people. Yeah. Okay.
Before we end, I just wanted to mention that Tammy is actually back on March 21st, a little ways from now, talking about brand photos. So I think we should try to do the Facebook Live that day, Tammy, with our webinar, because
Okay,
I think we should try.
Yep.
So anyways, I just wanted to mention that to everybody, because if you have any type of product, Tammy's going to be walking through, you know, and not even product, even yourself, if you are the brand, if you are the product, you know,
yeah.
just taking photos. So sorry, go ahead.
I think what we'll do, I obviously haven't made it yet because that wouldn't be Tammy's style to be prepared. But I think what we should really talk about is like how to prepare for a brand shoot for yourself. And then also how to take photos of your brand by yourself, like kind of like the two part.
Perfect.
Because
and then obviously a little plug for your own, since you're really ramping up your brand photos right now. I
am, because I really love, you know what happened is we just had a bit of a hard season over Christmas. The season it's like 2 weeks, but it was just like hard. And I'm like, oh, I actually have to, like I have 2 teenagers in the house now, and it will be 3. So it's just a different season. I thought actually toddlers were the hard time. I've actually realized that it's actually the teenagers. I didn't know, Jessica, like no one's telling me this. So that's the hard season. I'm like, oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I have to simplify my life. What can I do that makes me money, that I'm really good at, that I love doing? Female brand photos. I was like, great. Great. That's what I'm just gonna like niche in hard on that with photography, and I already have like a really great base with the well. So I love it. And I found that I've been doing a ton of just sort of like pulling what I know out of my brain and putting it into content for. So I'll pull that, and we'll talk about like all the things you go through before preparing for a brand shoot. And they'll be like practical things, and there'll be emotional things, and then how to create some content on your own.
Perfect. That sounds great. So everybody, that link is live in our Eventbrite. So I will also include it in an email after this session for you to get registered for that.
And I will practice my Facebook lives before, so I'm good to go.
Does anyone have any other questions before we end the session today?
If not, I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. Just a little reminder that Sage Hill and IBDS, we offer a workshop every 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, we're back with boosting, for social media. How to boost, should we boost? And then, and to find out our complete agenda of workshops, to check out either the IBDS or the Sage Hill Facebook page. We're always busy with new topics. I think we've got one about TikTok coming up. We've got one about implementing a refined rural brand. So there's all kinds of good information for businesses and for community or your community group if you're looking for some stuff too. We've got grant ready and grant writing coming up. So make sure you check out our website and the Facebook page. And I'd just like to thank everybody for joining us. Thanks, Tammy, for the wealth of information again. And we look forward to having you back.
And one last thing is we do have a survey that will pop up once you exit out of here. And we greatly appreciate your feedback.
Thanks, everyone. See you.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies. Everybody have a great afternoon.
Yeah.